Today is Good Friday. On the church calendar is the day that we remember Jesus' death, his suffering and death on the cross, the centerpiece of the Christian religion. There is no Christianity apart from Jesus' death. Whether it's baptism, where it's a symbol of Jesus, of being buried with him. Jesus said that he was talking about his crucifixion, said it was a baptism that he had to undergo. It's a picture of God's judgment in the Old Testament. Whether it's baptism, where we remember his death, whether it's the Lord's Supper, where we eat the Jesus' body, which is the bread, and Jesus' blood, which is the wine, that Paul says we proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. That Paul himself again said that he endeavors to know nothing among us except Christ and him crucified. That Revelation tells us over and over again that Jesus is forever worshipped as the Lamb who was slain. That he, even though he rises again, he still wears the scars on his hands and his feet and his side. This is what we commemorate today, is Jesus' death on the cross. A very high and holy day in the Christian church. But also, because of the pandemic, we're not able to celebrate this, to commemorate this, to be with one another in our normal way. That we can't meet in our churches, that we can't gather together as followers of Jesus, that we can't hear the story read again, that we can't sing songs together. It's a very sad day. And so for that reason, my denomination, the denomination I'm ordained as a pastor in, the Presbyterian Church in America, along with many of our sister denominations, have called for today to be a day of prayer and fasting, especially in light of the global pandemic. Remember that our churches are closed, that we can't meet together with one another. We also remember those who are sick from the virus and their family members who are affected, because those sick people are maybe in hospitals fighting for their lives or in self-quarantine, separated from their families. Remember those who have passed away from the virus. We remember those families of the ones that are left behind of those who have passed away from the virus. We remember the medical professionals who are on the front lines putting themselves in danger's way in order to care and love and serve for the people who are affected by the virus. We remember the families of those people who are anxious about their mom, their dad, their son, their daughter, somebody that's connected to them being put in harm's way like this, the possibility of being infected. We think about those who are unemployed, who are without income because their business is shut down. We think about those who are in difficult home situations, who are maybe trapped with abusers. There's so much sadness to go around in this time, and we remember that. And we cry out to God and we ask him for his deliverance. We abstain from food and drink to show the depth of our longing. But we also do it with hope. Today the reading for Good Friday is John chapters 18 and 19. And in particular in John 19, verse 28, it says this: After Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, that Jesus was near the end of his life, he knew that he was about to die, he said, to fulfill the scripture, I thirst. We fast knowing that on the cross, Jesus fasted for us. That he abstained from food and drink, and even more than that, he abstained from using his powers. He entered into weakness. And why did he do that? So that he fasted so that we can feast. He thirsted so that we could be filled up. The very end of the Bible Revelation 21, it says this, "The Spirit and the bride say, 'Come.' And let the one who hears say, 'Come.' And let the one who is thirsty come. Let the one who desires take the water of life without price." Jesus thirsted on the cross so that we could drink to the full the water of life and never thirst again. That we could find full satisfaction in Him alone. So we fast and cry out and weep and mourn over this difficult time that we're facing now. But we also look with hope, knowing that because of the cross, because of Jesus' death and resurrection for us, that we can cry out to Him, that we can fast, knowing that the feast and the deliverance and the rescue is right around the corner. So, I encourage you maybe to consider fasting today, to step back from either food and drink or from entertainment. Consider, contemplate, think about the suffering that Jesus endured on the cross for us. And then most of all, as we cry out and ask God to act now and cure us from this disease that is spreading, that we would have hope and know that He has defeated sin, He's defeated evil, that these difficulties that we endure right now are only temporary, that if we're believers, we'll spend eternity with Him, feasting and drinking to the full in His presence.